This is Replicant Fish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. So hope you're doing well, men and women. Hope you've had a good weekend. And we will start the week with this one. An interesting one, a very interesting one. She belongs to the streets. She's not yours, it's just your turn. Poetry, yes. Modern poetry for modern men, indeed. Now before I begin, let me say this. You can't hate women for their nature. And it's to understand that many things women do, they do by nature. Now it's not to cape for women and say that women don't do bad things. No, clearly, obviously. No. It's the fact of understanding what they do based on their nature. For instance, survival. A woman's willingness and need to survive is strong, beyond strong. And many women are very adaptable creatures, meaning many of them will and can adapt to the new man they're with. Doesn't mean they love this man in the way that some men see love. No, it just means that this man is good, desired, or he's safe for now. By nature, women need to survive and progress. They naturally have an instinct to do whatever they need to do, regardless of whatever, to live. So with hypergamy and women, when they move on from this man here with not much up to a man that has more, when women do this, yes, of course, many do it in a very malicious way, but they also do it in a sense of it's instinctual. It's instinctual for them to find their best option they can. And my last point here is this, which goes on to the topic, that women haven't actually changed so much. No, the world has changed and women are able to do far more now than they have actually ever been able to do. So because of that, many women are taking advantage of their newfound options and doing the best they can do for them. Obviously, their survival instincts are kicking in full force. Added to that, the fact that women can make their own money and that a man working a normal job nowadays isn't actually enough to start a family unless he has a very, very good job. What's happened is many women have become so independent that they no longer need a man for the security and comfort like before, like they did 30-40 years ago. So because women can now secure themselves money and finances, many of them can now focus on other reasons why they may want a man. One of many reasons being the sex. With men, she desires. You see, a long time ago, more women had to settle for a good enough man with a good job. From their points of view, understand, and as many women listening, you know this, because many women no longer have to settle so much, because they have more options, many of them embark on many a fun life, and then would look for the safe man, the settling man, later on in their lives, when starting a family is more difficult and not so easy. And because of the shift of desirability, the fact it can no longer be masked by the fairy tales of, oh, women like men just for their personalities and whatnot. Because of this, more and more men have seen that some of them need to have a lot more to themselves, because in terms of dating, a lot of them would be unsuccessful. So because many women have no need to be homely women anymore, many women, young women, embark on many adventures from a younger age, and many men their age, let's say late teens to early 20s, many of these men, some would say they miss out. It's not a sense of being a good man nowadays, that doesn't matter. Many men are seeing it a sense of, what extra do you have as a man? So what this does is, it causes many men, and not all of them, I don't believe all of them, it causes many men to become cells, because they lack the requirements, or they feel they lack the requirements, to land what they would see as a decent woman. Because many of them have so many options nowadays, they have no need to settle for regular Joe when they can get Super Joe over there. So yes, a very long waffle intro, fish waffle indeed. Before I get to the point being, she belongs to the streets. And to understand women, why more men are saying this, and it's making more and more sense every single day. Partially because women, you're showing us, which is good. Keep showing men, because more men need to learn. Some don't believe, some still believe the fantasy and the fairy tale. And that's why I encourage women to show more men more of you, to let them understand your true nature. Because you see, When times are different, women can pretend to be the good, homely women. But in times like this, right now, modern liberated women, come on. We all know many of them, many of you women listening, belong to the streets. You're not ours, no. How dare we as modern men try to claim a woman? How dare we? No, no, no. Indeed. You're not ours. It's just our turn. We know you belong to the streets, not in a sense that every one of you are garden tools. No. It's more in the sense that because you're so liberated, and because no man can and should claim you, of course, that's where you belong, to the streets. You have to be there for other men to see you, find you, approach you, get in your DMs. No, you have to be in the streets somewhere. Thus you belong to the streets. Some would say, she belongs to the road, to the sidewalk, to the curb. She belongs out there, out back. In the garden, as some would say, a garden tool, as some would say. But some men make the mistake of bringing women who belong to the streets into their homes, not realizing you can take the woman out of the street. You can't take the street, the sidewalk, the road, or the garden tooldom out of many women. And you can try and you can fail. You can be like Will Smith, give a woman everything she wants and still fail. It's to understand even your wife. Yeah. She's not yours, it's just your turn. As many men have been through a divorce, know too well. She was never mine. No, it was just my turn. Now she belongs to the streets. For other men to see, desire and want, and deal with, indeed. The rapper Future has made the term popular, and it's become a meme, and it has been so for quite a while now. Mixed with one of my favorite sayings, she's not yours, it's just your turn. Because not only are they one and the same, it makes perfect sense and it paints a picture of modern times in a few simple words, and it's stunning. And she belongs to the streets, it's just your turn goes into the fact of this as well. As I said before, many women are adaptable. Yes, some men can imprint on a woman, being a man that may have been her first or a man she was highly fond of, who in a sexual way imprinted himself on her. So even if she loses or leaves this man, she may seek out other men who are in some way similar because of the imprint. Some women, isn't that right, women? Some. And because of imprints and women being adaptable to the men that they're with, many men come across women that they're a mixed bag of, in a sense, some would see it as confusion because of the amount of men they've been with. She's a mixture of this guy over here that did this. He was probably a music producer or something. Then this guy over here that did this, he was probably a drug dealer or something. Then this guy over here that probably had a high-powered job. Then that guy over there that probably worked in the burger shop, but he was a very good dancer. This guy over here who's boring as hell but rides a motorcycle. So she ends up becoming a biker chick as well. That's my point there. And because many women can be chameleons and adapt and adjust and change and shift collars and apply some makeup and change their hair to become someone new, it's to understand when a large number of women are like this, so adaptable, so changeable, so ready to adjust, to have no need to settle, it's difficult to see them as anything but for the streets. No, not all women, no. The ones that are like this, the garden tool women in society. Now some would say, Fish, come on Fish, what number of women are you talking about? And I would say this, unicorns don't exist. What does exist are men that believe unicorns exist. So the unicorns don't exist, but the men that believe they exist. And in that there's hope. There is hope. And of course, men would have hope. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't men want to find a woman and settle down and start a family? The reason many wouldn't is because they see that, my God, she's not mine, it may be a turn. I may bust and move, but she belongs to the streets. And she may not know it now, but one day, maybe at some dark point in the future, she may look back on her life and reflect and realize and understand that she was always for the streets. Is it sad that some women don't know this? Or is it more sad that many women know this and accept it and push it? The fact that they know they belong to the streets, that no man should ever see himself as owning them. He should understand he may have fun, yes, it was his turn. But he should understand she will forever be for the streets. Not necessarily a street walker, more in terms of a woman that's always out there. And the many and many men that are having their turns. A turn in which you give her back to the streets. For it is the streets where she belongs. Focus. Observe. Remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.